guys, this is Crazy Kevin here, and I'm here with Eric Shelton. Eric, how we doing, my man?
I'm doing well, man. Just training, get ready for what I got next.
Yeah, man, you were supposed to have a fight coming up recently, and then it got canceled. Talk to us a little bit more about that.
Well, I had an injury, don't want to go in too much detail about, what it was, but I had an injury I had to pull out. First time I've had to pull out of a fight in my life, but something that was a good decision that I needed to make. So just things happen in the game. Something I had to do.
Yeah, no, definitely. Now, with that injury, how have you been healing up, and when do you think we'd see you back in there?
Um, I'm actually um I'm actually scheduled for June for Fury. But also, man, I got a last minute call for UFC this weekend. It didn't go through, but I had the call, you know what I mean? So we just I'm staying ready, you know what I mean? I'm ready for whatever. But I got June coming up for Fury on Fight Pass, so I'm prepping for that right now.
And congrats. Now, with the UFC call, why is it this UFC is always looking for you guys to come in on short notice? How come they're not just going to sign you outright?
I mean, I wish that was the case, man. You know, I'm a UFC vet, I was an Ultimate Fighter, for I was in the semifinalists, but I know there's a lot of guys out here doing the same thing I'm doing, fight for the same thing I'm fighting for. So I'm just gonna keep doing me. I don't know, I can't give you an exact answer why that's the case, but I'm ready always, so I don't gotta get ready. So that's just something I'm prepared for.
Now, you're in a stacked division, but you fought a lot of tough people in your UFC run. I mean, you fought a guy like Pantoja who won the belt and everything like that. How did that feel for your confidence, like seeing him go out there and win the belt?
Um, it was it was something that I knew I already was, but like for me, man, watching him do it, was just I was happy for him. He was a training partner of mine for a lot of years as well, and Brandon Moreno too. He was on my team on Ultimate Fighter. I fought Alex Perez. I fought the likes of everybody in the UFC right now. So it's or at the 25 division, but right now I moved up to 35, so I kind of got my eyes set on something different, but if it ever came to it, I would be down to go down to 25 and take my title that I know I deserve for sure. I know I belong at the top of the world for sure. I know I belong with all the best because but I'm gonna keep fighting until I get where I belong.
Why do you think it's taken you so long to come back into the UFC? I mean, I definitely think, you have the talent to be in there. I think you've had the talent for a while now. What do you think's been taking so long?
Man, I wish I had the answer, man. I've been asking myself that every day. I got 6 kids to feed, so it's been hard to fight on the local circuit. Being used to the UFC money and being used to that lifestyle, it's different, man. I know, but like I said, man, a lot of guys are trying to fight for where I'm at or for where I'm trying to go. So we're all battling for the same thing. I definitely believe I'm one of the top. I've been the top as long as I can. I've been top in Iowa, top in Texas. I've been top all these cities, but I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting. I'll be there when my time comes, man.
Now, what do you think the best thing is that you learned from the Ultimate Fighter?
I think the best thing that I learned from it is just patience, man. Um, I learned patience there. I learned a lot of I met a lot of great people. On top of that, man, just seeing the talent that's in the world, a lot of guys that are just as good as you. You think you're the best in the city you come up in, and you meet guys that are just as good as you. It humbles you, but at the same time, it gives you confidence. So that that house right there, like, man, people that come off the Ultimate Fighter, as you know, man, most of them become champions or become, you know, top ranked guys. So it's just like it does something to you. It's just like it's a different it's a different perspective to the game. Because I fought 3 times and I thought 3 times in 3 weeks. That was crazy. But it built me and it made me and it helped me a lot. So I think that definitely gave me a perspective that a lot of fighters don't have.
I think that was the best Ultimate Fighter season of all time when it comes to like talent.
I think as far as like most of the time those guys are coming in young guys don't really have the knowledge or the like the talent like you said, but being all champions, that was the only season that was all champions, man. So you don't really get the drama that, we had in all the other seasons. We didn't get all that. You know what I mean? But what we got from that is to see, I mean, look, Pantoja now is a champ of the world. Brandon Moreno was a champ, and he was cut right out the front. He was cut in the beginning. You know, there was a lot of things that we did in that season. For the 125 division that I think set a tone. Set it high. So the bar was set high in our division. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Now, with you being on the Ultimate Fighter, is there anything behind the scenes that maybe a fan might not know about that goes on?
Oh yeah, for sure. There's scenes that I thought for sure were gonna be put out, but they weren't. But it's one of those things, man. It's just like the production does what they do, and you let them do what they do. But I lived there for 6 weeks, and it was definitely things that didn't get put out. But I mean, for me, man, I was happy with the way they portrayed me and the way they, showcase who I was, because really that's all I really wanted to do, and they did well with that. So.
Now you're mentioning the clips that didn't make it in there. Is there any like certain clips like after watching the show back, you're like, man, I really wish I was on there though.
There's a couple, man. There's a couple, man. I got pranked one time. I got pranked one time. They threw an egg on me and threw some flowers on me, and I lost my shit. That happened. I chased him with a chair, but that didn't get that didn't get put in there, and I was kind of surprised. I was like, damn, I thought that was gonna be on there for sure, but it wasn't, man. I was kind of happy though, because the way I was on the show, I was just like, God fearing, being family man who I am. Um, it wouldn't fit with the way I was. I lost my control. So,
Now,
but they didn't put that out there. So
how long you got to hold the news for? Like when you're like on the Ultimate Fighter, you're back at home now. Like how long do you have to hold the news for everybody?
till like every episode, all my friends are like, this is the only, like, because I'm terrible at keeping secrets, man. It was the only thing I was able to keep a secret to, because this is like, I was excited. Like everybody was watching, and they're like, "Oh man, what's this episode? What we're gonna do? Like, did you lose or did you win?" I'm like, I mean, man, you're gonna have to watch, because it would get my ratings up too. It was just one of the things that I was able to keep a secret for, but it was great, man. It was, man, that time, it was amazing, man. I loved it for sure.
Now, what was the mansion like? What was your favorite part about it?
Mm. Favorite part was just being just the silence. It was peaceful. Like, you're not dealing with the life. You're not dealing with, being a father. You're not dealing with, everything that I deal with on a daily basis. It was just peaceful. But um my favorite part was just like, when I would go out and I'd get in the on the little float, and I'd float in the water. Just like things like that, just like peaceful, with nothing else on your mind but fighting. Just training and fighting, just like what I love to do. I was able to focus fully on that, and I feel like I haven't had that. I haven't had that freedom with fighting since the Ultimate Fighter, for sure.
Now, you fought during a pretty crazy period in the UFC during that like Flyweight Purge. I remember just being a fan and just like watching the fights and just being like, whoever loses this fight's probably gone. Like, this might be my last fight watching in the UFC. What was the pressure like fighting during that time? And like, just tell us a little bit more about that.
I'm so glad you brought that up, man, because that was literally, I feel like, the reason why I wasn't able to perform at the peak that I could, and I was cut because of it. But that, like, a lot of pressure, like, it was on me for that. That just like every fight was maybe you lose your job. You know what I'm saying? So it was so much. I'm glad you brought that up, because a lot of people don't think about that, man. And it was a terrible time in my life, man, because I was like, every fight is like possibility of me losing. So I'm fighting, super like hesitant. I'm fighting like I don't want to lose, instead of wanting to win. So it was like I wasn't able to show my everything I'm capable of doing. You know what I'm saying? But I'm glad you brought that up for real, man, because that's a big it's a big thing a lot of people don't think about with a lot of the fighters at the flyweight division, because there was a time that we were not going to be here. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, really quite away. You know what I mean? And yeah, and then they kind of saved the division and everything. But yeah, that was a really crazy time. I just remember watching it on like Fight Pass or whatever. You know, it was like whoever lost was like, probably their last fight in the
they're
UFC.
probably gonna be gone. Yeah, man. I mean, they got rid of Demetrius, and after that, I was like, dang, because that was my dream fight. You know, that's why the Ultimate Fighter, that was my dream fight. Is Demetrius. When they got rid of him, I'm like, man, they'll get rid of anybody in this division. So Pantoja, that was my debut. That was my debut UFC fight was Pantoja. So, and we went to a split decision. My second fight was Jared Brooks, and he's the ONE FC champion now. And just like, it's just crazy, man. It's just like, I know where I belong, but I'm gonna keep fighting. I'm gonna keep proving my worthiness of who I am, because I fight for so much more than just, I got a lot of things to feed, a lot of kids to feed, a lot of things to prove. You know what I mean?
And man, absolutely. And you've been fighting for a while now. I definitely think you have the talent to make it in there. So yeah, I'm definitely glad we covered that the flyweight purge a little bit. With that being said too, with you being in the UFC, is that kind of your main goal now in fighting? Just try to make it back in there and try to be the champ once again?
I'm 100%, man. My goals never change. Until I finish what I came out to do. It's never gonna stop. I'm a fight till the wheels fall off, man. And I'll be there when I get there. I'll make it rain for sure. Everybody's gonna know, and I'm back. So, I just can't wait for my time. It always comes around, for people that stay consistent and stay fighting, with all the heart. And I got so much heart for this stuff. I love this. It's all my life, man. That's all I do. It's as well, so I know I've been a judge as well. So I know what it's like, and just listening to the crowd and seeing how they act. I just think yeah, that's kind of a good idea, man. I haven't actually heard that yet.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I definitely think that's a good food for thought. Now, another thing I was thinking about too, it seems like a lot of like sports, not just the UFC, it's just like, they're having a lot of these analysts nowadays be like professional fighters. Do you think like if you're a judge, do you think you should be like a former professional fighter or something like that?
100%. That's one thing that I've always thought. Like, man, you have to be in there to understand what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think I was a great judge because I've been in there. I could see, like, oh, he's controlling this position, he's doing this position, he's winning the striking, you can see that stuff differently when you've been in there and then felt it. So I definitely think that should be one of those things that it would change. It would definitely change the judging that we got going on, man. I see so many like scorecards that are insane. You'd be like, what the hell is going on? But that's just because that's the knowledge that they don't have. So and definitely what you're saying with the fighter being a fighter, I think that is something that should be required for sure.
Now, with you being a judge, obviously you train with like certain fighters and stuff. Is there like certain fighters you're like specifically not allowed to judge?
No, because the when I judged, I was actually judging teammates. I was judging, people. I mean, it was for a local circuit, so it wasn't like something like UFC or anything. But they never said nothing. But I judged fairly. I was judging fairly, and we were doing, you know, I actually had to judge against one of my teammates before. So it's just like being fair because I know what this sport can do to your life. This is something that people put their life into. So I take it very seriously because I understand. You know what I mean? And I think fighters will always understand because we put so much into this stuff. A lot of people can never fathom it, but I definitely do.
Oh man, 100%. I agree with you. Now, when we were setting up this interview, I mentioned I've been doing Taekwondo for about 20 years now, and I've been teaching for about 6 years, and I have about 150 students at my school. With that being said, what advice do you have for those guys who keep coming into the gym every single day and to keep getting better?
Just consistency, man. I truly believe in that, man, because I've know guys that have been, burners in the, gym that just get squashed but end up being great. I just believe in consistency, doing work on your own time. Because a lot of times what made me better than most is just I was working when I wasn't in the gym with the guys, so they wouldn't know, why does he get this cardio build? And you just always work on your own time. You believe in yourself, and I just think I think I think a lot of people, man, just the doubt comes from the gym sessions, being beat up and because I actually started with Taekwondo. That's what I started with. And so for you saying that's pretty cool, man. But yeah, I just think consistency, man, and believe in yourself. And if you really love it, it's in you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I definitely think that's a good message. I appreciate that. With that being said, man, Eric, last message to the fans that are gonna be tuned in and watching this video.
Man, I just want to let you guys know, man, Showtime is always gonna be relevant. And when I come back, it's always gonna be my time. So it's always gonna be Showtime. And I'll get that title. You'll see. Just give me time.
Ready. And like I said, man, hopefully, like I said, your next fight out there is in the UFC, and we're looking forward to keeping up with your career, man. And thanks a lot for coming on the show. We appreciate you.
Thanks so much, man. I appreciate you, brother.
All right, my man. We'll stay in touch, and looking forward to seeing your future fights.
My man. Likewise.
Take care.